What's up to all my Taurus out there? So let's get into the reading. So um something just happened where um something good where I just got to a point where of realization within myself where I'm really getting to a point where I'm just like, I can just relax, let things go, you know what I mean? Because of how so many people support me and how so many people rock with me, you know, in real life, online, here. I really appreciate that. You know what I mean? And it helps me ease my mind just a little bit. But to get into the reading, for you, Taurus, you have the Fool, you have the Moon, you have the Queen of Swords, you have the Nine of Wands, the Eight of Pentacles, the right. Then you have the Devil, the Nine of Pentacles, the Nine of Cups, the Six of Swords, and you have the Page of Cups. So what I'm seeing here for you, Taurus, right, is you Taurus, speaking of letting go, you Taurus pretty much can kind of let go of your own personal worries when it comes to mating and dating. The Fool is a card very much so about learning how to let things go, learning how to let things be what they are. The Moon and the Queen of Swords represents this being a situation for you where what's happening here is the Moon represents the stress and the emotional baggage that you know some of you Taurus may have had to go through currently, and the Queen of Swords, you thinking that you have to screen people better, you have to watch out for if people are playing around with you, you know, and that may not necessarily always be the case. um, this is a situation where um, you, wow, you, uh, Taurus, have to realize that things are good for you, right? You're in a situation where you're good, right? I was saying wow because I got some glue on me because I was trying to I was trying to put up the wall foam panels and stuff like this because they actually came. Um, but nonetheless, yeah, a lot of you Taurus really got to get to a point where y'all understand that y'all don't have to do too much worrying when it comes to relationships. You know what I mean? Because the Nine of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles, the Nine of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles represents, again, you Taurus may be overly worried about things that are not necessarily meant to be between um, different people. So a lot of you Taurus may be thinking about why is it that things are not necessarily working. I'll say this. The reason why it is that things aren't necessarily working is because you haven't found the correct one yet. You know what I mean? And whatever the correct one may be, right? I know that it may sound cliche, but it really is true. Whatever the correct one may end up being, you know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily always have to mean it has to be a particular type. So it's a situation where you really gotta understand that what you've got going on is special for you, right? Because you don't want to end up interacting with someone who isn't necessarily good for you, right? So the Nine of Wands represents, yes, you may be a little bit frustrated that how you may not be finding someone for you, but you got to understand, the more real you are, is the less people who happen to be real you will attract, because right, because the Moon, which ironically Taurus is exalted in, doesn't just necessarily represent the nighttime. The Moon also represents illusions in that way, where sometimes it's difficult to kind of break people out of that illusion of doubt and you know of doubt and lack. And that's the situation at hand, right? you know, Even with me, with 3,500 and counting subs, I still have a problem with lack myself, where I still have to learn to break myself out of certain modes myself. For the most part, I ain't gonna say for the most part, but for a lot of it, I figured it out, right? But I still also have to learn to break my own self out of certain parts as well. And as a result of that, that's a whole other lesson that I have to learn myself. So the Eight of Pentacles now represents how this is your wheelhouse though. This is something that you know that if you're looking for love, it is possible. You know what I mean? It is probable. It is possible. It's not to say that you were born into a world where there is no such thing as love. No, that's BS. It's just that for you, Taurus, you have to learn to you have to learn to get with people who do right by you over a long period of time. Okay? So some of these people may be your friends, that you may have to start dating your friends. You know what I mean? Um, you know, something like this. Because even in that certain regard, right? Even when it comes to my love myself, I do want to be in a relationship. You know what I mean? But the relationship has to be the correct one. The person has to be around me, in my area. Um, you know, and I'm not so quick to go run and wifey up anyone because I want to take my time and actually get to know them, right? See how serious they are with me, right? See if I'm serious about them. And see, a lot of times too, like I said before, I get a lot of people, off screen who are into me and stuff like this, who are here in the city, you know what I mean, and stuff like this. But even though they're here in the city, a lot of times they may not necessarily be the best people in the world to hang out with. And that, that's cool. But the situation, right? The situation is that they're not necessarily be the right one because they have family issues. And that's what it is I'm trying to say. It's not that love is impossible. It's just that when it comes to connecting with people that you like, you know, or wanting to connect with someone, make a real connection with somebody, people, you got to understand that the situation has to be correct. People have to be open for that type of stuff, right? Um, and with that being said, this is where you get the term match because are they living close enough to you to where you can access them? Are they on their feet enough to where it's not like you end up having to take them in and like actually take care of them the way that you would have to do like a newborn or something like this, or a little one? Is this person fair to you, right? These are all things that you have to take into consideration when it comes to dating people. And if the person is not necessarily living near you or in your city or just outside of your city, right? Just outside it's to where even if it's not technically in your city, it's so close, it's still like who cares, right? Because it's right there anyway, right? um like New Jersey or something like this, for New York. New Jersey is just south of New York. So who cares, right? If a person was from New Jersey, that's just outside of New York City for me. So if they wanted to come see me, I wouldn't have a problem with it at all. But that's the situation I'm talking about though. These types of things are what needs to be taken into consideration when it comes to getting to know people. The devil card is that when you Taurus actually start to understand those things, those couple of things I was just talking about, you'll realize that, you'll realize like, not everything is necessarily, based upon that. You know what I mean? Like not everything is necessarily based upon, you know, um, you necessarily just liking the person. It has to actually fit. It has to be cohesive. the Nine of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups represents here, it represents because you've got some things going on too, Taurus, that, if you were trying to be in a relationship with somebody, right? But the person happened to be, the person happened to be in China, you know what I'm saying? Or in India or something like this, we can make it more domestic, you know, across the country. You will look at it and you'll be like, this ain't really gonna work. This ain't really gonna work. Why is it not really gonna work? It's not really gonna work, not necessarily because you really don't like the person, but it's not necessarily gonna work based upon the fact that things are not adding up. It's not making sense for you. So the Nine of Pentacles represents, you also want to make sure that this person is into you too. This person is actually feeling you, right? The Nine of Cups is that, these are one of the things that you need to pay attention, some of the things that you need to pay attention to. The Six of Swords and the Page of Cups represents you will get people coming in around you that you can get to know. And at that point, it's up to you to figure out how you screen them even better. Make sure that they're not delusional. All of that, and this is part of it too, why it is that when it comes to dating and stuff like this, I'm really on some sparing people type stuff. And it's not even so much from point of, you know disrespecting them. It's really a point of, I'm looking at location. I'm looking at all of those types of things, and this is the things that you got to watch out for too. Location. You got to watch out for if they can financially take care of themselves, right? If they are mature, all of that, you know? And it's lovely that Taurus that y'all are a zodiac sign. Let's clarify the Six of Cups. Excuse me. Let's clarify the Six of Swords. But it's lovely that you, Taurus, are of that nature, for you to kind of like somebody and not necessarily pay attention to those things. But you also have to take into consideration that people will use you because of it. So you have to just watch out for those things. To clarify the Six of Swords, we have the Eight of Cups, the Temperance, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Chariot, which means when people come on in and they make themselves delusional or arrogant, or they make it seem like they're better than you, that's a sure warning sign for you to leave them alone, because you know what's coming after that. The Temperance, you know what's coming after that, or you should know. They're only going to get worse with you because they're playing. You know what I mean? They're interested in you, but they're still playing. So it's not an honest interest where it's, I'm actually interested in you to get to date you. No, they're not going to be coming at you from that perspective. The Knight of Pentacles and the Chariot. So guess what you got to do? You got to move forward. You got to keep trying to date. A lot of times people are worried about, well, your videos and your videos. Listen, don't worry about these videos in that sense, because these videos are to help you see who is out here, what type of people are out here being fake, what type of people are out here being real, the archetype, how to be able to know the differences between the two, right? It may not be 100% of foolproof, but it's a very good way for you to understand better what's out here and what's not out here. What does it look like when somebody's playing, and what it looks like when someone is being real with you. And one of the best ways for you to do that is if the person lives near you to where you can easily see them, right? So location. Can they financially take care of themselves? Are the two of you actually able to maintain a conversation? These are some of the things that you need to pay attention to, right? These are some of the things that I look at when it comes time now for me to get to know people, right? A lot, like I said, a lot of people have hit me up off screen, even in Instagram, you know what I mean? from seeing the videos, and they thought that this, that, and the third, and that was cool. But at the same time, they wanted to get to know me, and I respectfully turned them down. And the reason why was because due to the fact that they're not in New York. So it's not to say that I can hang out with them, get to know them, see what's going on with them, see, you know what I mean, if they're, healthy, respectable, respectful people, they're from a distance. They're from different states and stuff like this. And it's like, I can't necessarily catch a plane right now. I can't. But can they catch a plane? Okay, and that's cool. But even if they can catch a plane, excuse me, I said catch a plate, but like we eating dinner or something. But even though they can, they may be able to catch a plane, how many times can you actually see that person, you know, in a year? You know what I mean? And are they planning on living in New York? Because I'm not necessarily planning on moving for a while, not because I say so, but because, certain things happen. Still trying to save up, see what's going on, see, trying to save up for a home, see what's going on, stuff like this. Now, I want to say thank you, but I also want to bring to your attention the Clip-Arctic Magic for the Brave is out. Yes, I have it. I have a copy right here in my hands. This is the front. This is the back. The Clip-Off tree. Yes, I told y'all. I said I was going to go ahead and make it. And here you go, right here. So go ahead and pick up this copy today. If you want to really get yourselves into some serious magic, this is the book to help you out. And I made it very easy to understand. I describe it the best that I could so that you know the hardships that's coming along with it and what you'll get as a benefit because of it. But also too, please make sure to check out my readings and stuff like this, also my services. The link to that is in the comment section, along with my Instagram and along with the link to this book as well. So um, that's pretty much it. Trying to make this YouTube channel grow to 10,000 subscribers by the end of June. Would really appreciate it if it would. Uh, um, Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the like button. Uh, Hit the notification bell and set the notification bell to all so you can be notified whenever I drop these videos. Peace.